Hey guys, it's week 7. It's time for your YouTube activity. And we are talking about James Taylor this week. James Taylor is a singer and a songwriter and a guitar player. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about him in just a minute. But first, some dad jokes. Some more money related dad jokes. How can you get rich by eating? Eat fortune cookies. Who makes $1 million a day? Someone who works in a mint. That's the place where they make dollar bills and coins and stuff. All right, here's the last one. I hope you get this one. It's music related too. If you went to a concert for 45 cents, who would pay? No, excuse me. If you went to a concert for 45 cents, who would play? Who would perform? 50 Cent and Nickelback. That's pretty good. Let's talk briefly about James Taylor and the song. So the song that we're going to watch today, the video you'll watch after you watch this video of me doing my lecture, is called Fire and Rain, and it's from 1970, and it's kind of a sad story. So James Taylor had a friend who committed suicide named Suzanne, and he wrote the song when he heard about that suicide. She was in America, where he's from. He was in England recording an album, recording his songs to release on an album, and he heard about it and felt terrible about it. It's also about other parts of his life, like his drug problem. He had a drug addiction problem that wasn't good for him, and he knew it. He had a problem with depression that was making him obviously sad and making it hard to function. So the song is about her death, her suicide, and also his struggles with depression and with drug addiction, and his struggles with fame, with being famous and trying to navigate how life works when you're a famous person and how you just make all that work. So anyway, let's learn a little bit more about James Taylor right now. Here's what James Taylor looked like back in his prime. This was probably around 1970. He was basically active as a semi-famous popular musician starting around 1968, basically about when I was born. He was born in 1948, so it looks like he's about 72 years old right now. He's a little bit younger than my parents. I actually went to a James Taylor concert with my parents once at the Fargo Dome, and it was awesome. All right, here's what he looks like today. He's lost some hair up on top. But he still does concerts, he still writes songs. He just had a new album not too long ago, and he's very, very well respected. A lot of people really are into his music. So two of his more popular songs are Fire and Rain, the song we're going to watch today, and also You've Got a Friend, which is a song about being a good friend to each other. It's a really neat song. He is a solo act. He was never really in a band as part of a band, kind of like Eddie Van Halen was. He's kind of his own thing. Often he has a band with him, like playing in the background, but he has toured just by himself, playing the guitar too. So he is very calm. He's a really mellow guy. Some of his songs are slightly upbeat and raucous, but most of his songs are pretty mellow, pretty calm, pretty soothing. His style is like pop, but like folk, soft, sometimes referred to as soft rock. He is a fingerstyle player. He does not use a guitar pick at all. His right hand fingernails, in fact, are long. He kind of has like prom fingernails. A lot of girls get their fingernails done for prom. He actually sometimes has his nails done at a nail salon. He likes to have the right hand fingernails long so he can pick the strings kind of like their guitar picks. And like most fingerstyle players, he uses his right thumb, the side of his right thumb. He probably doesn't have a long fingernail on that one, but these ones are long. He has won 5 Grammy Awards. A Grammy Award is the highest award you can get as a musician for like having the best song of the year or the best album of the year, that sort of thing. He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a big deal, even though he's not really a hard rocker like Eddie Van Halen or Alex Lifeson from the last 2 weeks, the rock and roll people still really respect him, and he's in the Hall of Fame. That is a very big deal. He has sold a lot of albums. It's a big deal to sell 1 million albums. You get what's called a Platinum Album Award for selling 1 million copies of one album. Well, altogether, he has sold over 100 million, and that is a lot. That is very impressive. Some things we can learn from James. Number one, he, like Elizabeth Cotton, who we watched about 3 weeks ago, he does that elephant technique. His thumb is out here, like the trunk of an elephant, and his other fingers are over here, like the legs of an elephant. That's really good for keeping your technique separated so your fingers don't run into each other. Number two, his songwriting and the way he sings his songs is so sincere. You just really feel what he's feeling. You feel like he means what he's saying, and that is awesome. A lot of his songs are about friendship, as I mentioned before, or dealing with hard stuff in your life, or moving on when bad things happen, or really life skill kind of stuff. One of my friends was in the front row at the Fargo Dome concert that he did about 5 years ago. And at the intermission, like in between the first part of the concert and the second part of the concert, James Taylor actually went out and like talked to people, like just got off the stage and went and talked to people in the front row. And my friend said that he shook James Taylor's hand and said, "Mr. Taylor, your songs, your music saved my life. I was so depressed. I was having so many problems. Your songs really helped me deal with life and keep me alive." And James Taylor said, "Yeah, they saved my life too." Because James Taylor has had some mental health problems. He's been in a psychiatric hospital once or twice with depression. I'm glad that he got help. I'm glad that he got what he needed. He has at various times in his life dealt with his mental health issues by using drugs. It didn't kill him or anything, which is good, but I'm glad he got professional help and that his music has helped him too. That's awesome. That's great. Music can do that for people. So that sincerity and finding a way to deal with his problems through music has been really good for him. Number three thing that we can learn from James Taylor is chord suspensions. I will demonstrate that in a minute here. Different ways to play common chords to make them have some variety and some interest. Number four, he also plays his chords in more than one position, more than one place on the fretboard. I'll try to demonstrate that a little bit. I think that's really cool. And he's not only good at finger picking, where he picks the strings, one string or maybe two strings at a time, but he also is good at just strumming with his fingernails rather than with a pick. I will demonstrate that in a minute as well. Here are the questions for this week. Number one is the same as it always is. Tell me why you like or dislike this performance. Make sure you're specific about it so I know what you're thinking. Make sure you're writing complete sentences, not just short little ideas. And also, guys, please make sure that your sentences aren't super long. If there's more than one thought in a sentence, you should just put a period there, and then your next thought be another sentence, and your next thought be another sentence. Question number two, what are you looking forward to in life? I'm wondering, like a month from now, or a year from now, or 5 years from now, or 50 years from now, what are you looking forward to? And number three is, what's making you mad, sad, or glad today? Keep telling me how you're doing, guys. It really helps me understand you better. Let's talk about some things that James does as a player. By the way, he's still alive. He's not dead. James Taylor is still alive, which is awesome. So on this song, he uses a capo. It's like a clamp that you put on your guitar to make it sound higher. So if I play a G chord without a capo, sounds like that. If I put a capo maybe on fret 2, now my G chord is over here. If I put it even further up, now my G chord is over here. So it's a way to use chords that you already know, but make them sound higher. So on this particular song, James Taylor likes to use a capo on fret 3, right there. And you will hopefully see that in the video. And the chord that he plays most often on this song is the A chord. And he plays it with his fingers. So I just told you about the elephant thing. So he does a lot of this kind of thing with his thumb, maybe on string 5 for the A chord, because that's the lowest string. That kind of thing. And then sometimes he strums, and he doesn't like grab a pick. He just uses his fingers to strum. So he uses the backs of his fingernails like this for down strums, and his thumb for up strums. And by the way, he has his arm way over here. That's usually not a great idea, but for a finger style person, someone who just uses their fingers, it can work. All right, I'm going to stop using my fingers for a minute because I'm better with a pick. So I want to talk to you about these A chords. He does a lot of different A chords. The normal A chord, which all of you have learned, this one. And he doesn't use fingers 2, 3, 4 like I do. I think he might use this, 2, 3, 1, that sort of thing. In fact, I think that's what he does. But then he also does these suspended chords where you change that A chord a little bit. You can add some suspense. You make it sound a little bit unsettled. Here's a sus2 where you leave finger or string 2 open. And here's a sus4. Maybe I'll use my pinky here to play string 2 fret 3. And if you kind of do a combination of those three, it sounds really cool. Listen to this. So he does that, but with finger picking, and it sounds really neat. He also sometimes changes the way he plays a regular A. A regular A can be like this, but it can also be 5 frets higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with fret 5 on strings 1 and 2, and fret 6 on string 3. But you have to not play string 4 or it will sound bad. So I'm just going to use my fingers, string 5, string 3, string 2, string 1. So sometimes he does his A like that. That's kind of interesting. An additional way he plays an A is this A9 sus4. I don't see him do it very much in this video, but my friend Chris took a guitar class when he was your age, and he said when they played Fire and Rain, he loved this song because A9 sus4 doesn't have any fingers. As long as you avoid string 6 with your pick, it actually sounds good in the song. So it comes just before A. It's like this. So it creates some suspense, some tension, and then when you get to the A, it's like, oh, good. I've been waiting for that A. So that's that one. Yeah, James, again, is a finger picker guy and a finger style guy, and he's just really good. I sure hope that you enjoy this song. So go ahead and watch the Fire and Rain video now. This is from 1970. This is him performing in 1970 when he was young and had a lot of hair, and I sure hope you enjoy it.